Hi, I'm Richard Morrow with John L. Scott Real Estate here in the Columbia River Gorge, and I'm a licensed real estate professional in both Oregon and Washington. I'm here with you today because I wanted to put together a simple four-part series on the home buying process. And so in part one, we talked about getting pre-approved. Part two, we talked about starting that home search and working with an agent. And part three, we talked about writing an offer and just some of the costs involved in initially writing that offer and what you should expect. And so this is part four, and it's about getting to the finish line. And so as we talked about in part three, at the end, we ordered the appraisal. And so now we are waiting for that appraisal to come back, which can take 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes more, sometimes less. And so while we're waiting, usually the lender's gathering more information from you as a buyer and gathering that documentation. And then so say we get the appraisal back, and let's say it doesn't come in good. It's lower than the value. Then we'd have to renegotiate the contract and see if we could make it work. But also, let's say it goes through and it's the right value, and so we move forward. And so after that, then it's on to final underwriting with the lender. So a lot of times they've gathered all those documents from you. They've got all the information about title, about the property, and they're just finalizing their package. And so there's an underwriter, sort of a third party that is finalizing those documents and making sure everything meets their criteria for giving you the loan. And so now we're heading to the finish line. So once they've approved everything, then they need to prepare documents for you to sign. And so once they order those, sometimes it takes 48, 72 hours. It can take that much time. And then they get them to the title company. The title company prepares all the documentation for you to sign and prepares all the numbers and gets everything worked out for us, so we know what's going on with the transaction. And so the next step is just to get you in to sign. And when we do that, I help you set that up and coordinate that. You get in to sign all the documents, and then once you've signed, you move on to the next thing is actually just waiting again, because all the documents that have been signed have to go back usually to the lender again for review and make sure you signed everywhere you needed to sign and all that. And so usually, even though you've signed that day, you're not going to own the house that day. It's usually 1 or 2 days later, and that's actually when it records at the courthouse the deed and the documents that need to be recorded. And then at that point, you own the home. It's time to get the keys. So that's the exciting point. And anyway, if I can help you with that, I'd love to. I love working in the Columbia River Gorge here. It's just such a beautiful area, and I love meeting new people. It's just been one of the biggest benefits of being a real estate agent in this area, is just getting to know new people and helping them meet their real estate goals and meeting new lifelong friends. So again, my name is Richard Morrow with John L. Scott Real Estate here in the Columbia River Gorge. I'm licensed in both Oregon and Washington, and I'd love to help you. So I'll leave you with my most important recommendation of the day is to have the absolute best day of your life. Thanks a lot.